We have 5 different offers for $100,000. So for today's video, I'm gonna be sharing a game-changing platform where you can get pre-approved for multiple 6-figure commercial business lines of credit. Now, this platform is the Bridge Marketplace, where you could reach 75 plus commercial lenders with just one submission. Now, instead of going to multiple different banks and applying one by one, with this platform, you create what's called an RFP, and that stands for Request for Proposal. So this is just a simple loan request. And instead of you going to individual banks to apply, you create this RFP. So let's say a business line of credit or an equipment loan or a commercial real estate loan, and different banks can actually view that RFP and then offer you term sheets. So instead of you going out to different banks, the banks essentially come to you. So your RFP is then visible to the over 75 plus commercial banks. After you get your term sheets, you could then compare and contrast the different offers that you receive. Now, Bridge has a different business model. So this is not for startups. And so they require a minimum of 100K plus in yearly revenue. And the lowest loan request is actually $100,000. So a $100,000 request is actually a small request when it comes to the Bridge platform. Now, in terms of the types of financial institutions in their network, this is really going to be regional banks and CDFIs, which are community development financial institutions. So we're not talking about the big banks they're working with. They're more working with regional banks and CDFIs. They've done over 2 billion plus in loan volume. Now, they were founded in 2021. However, Bridge was actually birthed from an original company that focused more on commercial lending. Now, this was a company called Foro, which focused on larger, more corporate types of loans. So there's a difference between small business loans and corporate loans. So as you can see right here, the original company Foro was really focusing on emerging, growing, as well as corporate types of lending, right? So emerging being 1 to 5 million in annual revenue, growing being between 5 and 50 million, and then corporate being over $50 million. So these are really bigger loans, not necessarily small business. Now, Bridge's mission is to pioneer the future of business capital access. One of the core values is to create liquidity and gain access to capital. So they've built this digital platform to open more doors for more businesses as they search for financial products and services. They're also modernizing how banks and businesses meet. Now, the game-changing part is this RFP. So completing a single request for proposal will then allow businesses to gain access to multiple banks at once. And again, they're connecting local and regional businesses with local and regional banks. So again, their business model is more the CDFIs, local and regional banks. All right, to get started, there's a link in the description of the video, but once you click that link, all you're going to do is go up to the top where it says get started. Now, pretty much how the process and workflow is, you're going to submit an RFP. Now, this will take about 15 minutes depending on your availability in terms of the information. Now, they do have an integration with QuickBooks that can pull in all of your business data, but if you're just manually keying it in, it might take you a little bit longer. So after you submit your RFP, you're going to schedule a call where you'll discuss the different lending options, what you're really looking for. And then after that point, you're going to submit documents. Now, you can submit documents directly to the Bridge platform. And then once you actually select a lender to work with, that lender will then not only have access to the RFP that you've created, but also your financial docs. And I will say that in order to get the most use out of this type of platform and get the most offers, you want to submit your financial documents. This is not a no doc type of platform. Again, this is for bigger deals, 100,000 or more. So they're definitely going to ask you for business financials. All right. So when you're logged into the platform, you'll see something that looks like this. Okay. So you have your RFP submission. Then right here, you have lender responses. Now, when you first submit your RFP, you may not receive a lender response immediately. Sometimes it might take a couple of hours, but once you start getting offers, all you have to do is click here, review lender response. Now, again, this is a game changer. So as you can see, we have 5 different offers for $100,000. Now, you don't have to necessarily just choose one. You could choose multiple offers. This layout here allows you to compare and contrast the different rates. So as you can see right here, you got 9.5% fixed, 9% fixed, 10.99% fixed, 15.99 prime plus 3. So there's different terms, different rates, and there's different conditions. So right over here, you'll actually see the different term sheets. So let's just click on one of them. Now on the term sheet, it'll actually give you information about the financial institution. So you can click on this About Bank to learn a little bit more about the financial institution. So this particular $100,000 offer is from City First Enterprises, and this is based in like the DC metro area. This is a CDFI. So just basic information about the financial institution. And one of the other great things is that sometimes you will be able to connect directly with the banker. So right here on the term sheet, they actually do give you the banker's LinkedIn URL, right? So you could actually engage directly with these bankers. This just lists out the facility. So this is a $100,000 line of credit. Right here, you have the amortization. Now, right here, they will have guarantor information, security information. So any individual or entity owning 20% or more of the borrowing entity will need to provide an unlimited guarantee. And again, there is an all asset lien on the business, which is generally a UCC. Now, the term sheets are going to be different based off the lender, right? Some might even require what's called financial covenants. So financial covenants are just additional stipulations of the loan agreement. Now, for this particular offer, it says a minimum debt service coverage ratio. So some of the other offers, you have First Bank of the Lake, $100,000 at 9% for 7 years. Tab Bank, Action Opportunity Fund, 100K, and First Business Bank. And mind you, these 500K offers are just from one RFP. Now, one thing you have to realize is that each RFP is going to be different. So if you want a line of credit, you have to create one RFP. If you want a commercial mortgage, you have to create an additional RFP. So you could have multiple RFPs per business entity. Now let's just walk through the process of submitting an RFP. So this is just from the view after you submitted your first one. But let's say you want to submit another RFP. So right down here says looking for a new RFP, just click there. And then from here, basically what you would do is just go through the process again. So it takes about 10 minutes, but I just want to give you guys an example of what this process looks like. So right here it says, how much are you looking to borrow? Let's just put 100,000. And they give you this drop down menu that shows the different purposes or use of funds, including inventory, receivables, acquisition, startup funding. So I will say with startup funding, you don't want to select this. This is almost kind of like a screener to, disqualify you in a sense, because this platform is really going to be for existing businesses. The next step of this, you're going to select the type of loan that you want. So that this could be a term loan, a line of credit, commercial mortgage, or maybe you're not sure. You could also select that. Now, again, these first couple of questions, these questions are helping them sort of curate the appropriate lenders, right? Because some lenders might focus on lines of credit. Some might focus on commercial mortgages. Some might be more specialized in equipment financing. So all of this matters and does have an impact in terms of the types of offers and the types of banks that are sending those offers. So it's important that you identify exactly what the appropriate use of funds are and the type of financial product that you're seeking so that you get the best results. Now, the next step of this process, you're going to be entering information on the business. Now, if you do have an integration with QuickBooks, so as it says right here, this process will be 5 to 10 minutes faster if you connect with QuickBooks. And I always suggest having an accounting system because your accounting system is information that lenders are going to be using anyways, things like your profit and loss, your balance sheet, your recent transactions. So with the QuickBook integrations, it pulls that data in automatically. And so this will save you an incredible amount of time. But if you don't have QuickBooks, you can also enter this manually. So then on the next page, you're going to enter in the revenue for the last 3 years. And again, as I mentioned, this is not for startups. So obviously, if you don't have, let's say, financials to go back at least 2 years, then you won't really be able to qualify for much. Now, they do ask for, up to 3 if you've been in business, as far as 3 years back. But if you've been in business for 2 years, you still would be eligible. Or even 1 year for that matter, I guess you could still be eligible. Minimum, though, at the beginning of 2023. All right. So then once you submit your RFP, what eventually will happen is that when you log in, it'll say something like this: congrats, you have an additional response. Review the proposal to connect with the lender to proceed. And you can pick up to 3 lenders to connect with. So basically, there's a set of documents that are standard across most lenders, right? And so in terms of financials, they're going to want to see the last 2 years of business financial statements. And these are generally going to be your profit and loss and or your business tax returns. And then they will want to see interim financial statements. So interim financial statements is typically just going to be your profit and loss, or maybe even your balance sheet year to date, right? And so one of the interesting things right now, since this is June 2024 when we're dropping this video, currently we are in tax season. So for those businesses that file an extension, if you did file an extension as of right now, you would just have to provide 2022 and 21 at a minimum, but you still would have to provide, let's say, 2023 full year profit and loss, as well as 2024 year-to-date profit and loss. So that's why it's really important to have an accounting system where your information is going to be refreshed on a daily basis, and all you have to do is go in and reconcile transactions. Now, here's just an example of the documents that were uploaded to this portal in order for a review with the financial institution. Now, in terms of interim financials, a 2024 year-to-date profit and loss. So pretty much banks want to see what type of financial activity your business has been doing in this year. Even though last year was the full year of tax returns, they want to see what you've been doing in 2024. Now, just to summarize, Bridge is a marketplace with over 75 plus commercial lenders. They focus mostly on community development financial institutions, regional lenders, as well as MDIs, which are minority depository institutions. Not necessarily the big banks when we're talking about American Express or Chase or, some of those larger banks. That's not really who they're targeting. This is going to be regional banks and CDFIs. The minimum loan request is $100,000, and that's a small request for the Bridge platform. Because just remember, they started out more at the corporate level, so over $1 million plus in terms of loans. But with Bridge, they're now offering smaller loans to small businesses, right? And one of the most important things I wanted to emphasize is that financial documents will be required. This is not a no doc option. If you don't have tax returns, financial statements, this is not going to be for you, and it makes no sense wasting your time. And again, what makes this innovative is that you're submitting an RFP that is going to be visible to multiple lenders. So instead of you going out to all these different banks, you create a loan request or an RFP, request for proposal, and then the banks pretty much compete for your business. So they give you actual term sheets that show amount, that show rates, and then you can decide which ones you want to move forward with, and you can move forward with up to 3 different offers. So as I showed you earlier, right here, we actually have 5 different offers for $100,000 lines of credit. And so pretty much once you are ready to move forward with the lender, you just check this box right here. And again, you could choose up to 3, then just scroll up to the top and hit confirm selection. At that point, what will happen is that Bridge will connect you with the banker. So what you're going to have to do is schedule an appointment. So you'll get access to a calendar where you can connect with the Bridge staff. And then from there, they'll introduce you to the banker. Now, here is an actual response from a lender that's reaching out in response to an RFP for a $100,000 line of credit that was submitted via Bridge Marketplace. So again, the Bridge Marketplace is an absolute game changer. Multiple subscribers have been able to get approved for 6-figure lines of credit in term loans. There's no hard inquiry as part of the RFP process. However, once you move to finalization with your loan with a particular lender, at that point, they will pull your credit, and it's going to vary. Each bank might pull a different bureau. So just to reemphasize, Bridge Marketplace is not an actual lender, but they work with connecting you with lenders through their RFP, which is visible to multiple lenders. Anyways, that's all for today's video. Let me know your comments and questions right down below. And if you're interested in applying for a loan, a line of credit, commercial mortgage with Bridge Marketplace, I've dropped a link in the description of the video. That's all for today. Until next time, take it easy and we'll talk to you soon. Peace.